All right, so we are going to be creating the backgrounds for a printing project that we're going to do. And the goal is to create a radial design. So that means it starts in the center and it radiates out the same way all the way around. Now, you can look at some of my examples for ideas. You could also do a Google image search. If you Google radial balance photography, you find some great ideas. Or you could look for radial nature photography. Nature sometimes has some great examples. A lot of flowers, fruits, snowflakes, those are all radial design examples. So there's a couple of ways you can do it, and some of these are harder than others. They're going to take more time. So this type of design is what we're going to say is kind of easy. It goes pretty fast. You don't have to be very precise with that. So I'll show you how to do something like that. This is fairly easy. You're just adding wavy lines that come out from the center. This is fairly easy. You're just kind of swirling and it's growing as you go around it. Ones that are going to be the hardest are ones where we're using rulers and stencils. So I am going to show you some of these ones that are harder. And they're an option too. Just know that they might take a little more time. Now, the other thing to consider is not leaving too much white space. Having some white space in your design is fine, but having too much means you're not going to see a lot of the background once you're done doing your printmaking. So I would say make sure you've filled up probably 3/4 of your design with color. And then of course you can leave some of that white space. Now, one of the things that is good to know when you're doing radial balance is where the center is. So I made this template that has a little cutout right in the middle. So you'll be able to use it on your paper to help you find the middle. On the back of your paper, always make sure in the top corner you write your name and then your class code. So that's your letter day. So if it was B week, it would be a B. If you're period 6, it would be a 6, for example. And then your table color is going to be really important. So if you sit at orange table, then write orange. That way it's easy for me to pass these back from the drawing rack when we're using them for printmaking. Now, on the front, if you want to line this up to find the center, okay, you just make a little dot right in the middle there. You don't need to trace the diamond shape. You just need a little dot, and that tells you where the middle is. Now, one of the tools I have to show you is called a compass, and this is a drawing compass that we can use to make concentric circles, meaning they share the same center. Now, if your pencil's not sharp enough, it may not work very well with this, but basically you line that little brass circle up right on the dot there, and then you take this wherever you want it. Let's say I want it out here on the edge. I have to hold the center down and not let it move, and then I can trace. So if you want to do a circle design like this, you can trace it, but it can be a little bit difficult, especially when you got to go around your own wrist. So, you know, you could ask a friend to hold it for you, or you can kind of hold it yourself and just kind of keep your arm up. But you have to hold it in the center, and then this rotates around it. So you can see you could do different points on there and get circles inside of circles. Another tool I have is this one. This one you actually can use with the center point. There's a circle there. It's just a stencil for creating mandala designs. So I think this one fits maybe 3 per side. So if I did this, let's say I want this design right here. And you could use part of it or you could trace all of it. But basically you move it, and then let's see, it would go right about here. And then I'm just using that one part of the stencil. And then I'm basically making those points come together. So yeah, this is split into 3 per half. So 1/6 of the design. So you can see how that's working. You have other ones of these that are 1/4 of the design. So you just have to kind of take a look at it and see how it fits on the paper. But if you keep rotating it, eventually you get a completed design. So hopefully this one lines up. So these kinds of things are going to take more time. So yeah, I'm a little bit off on this one. I think I left too much space somewhere else, but that's okay. So you can kind of see how that comes together. I can show another one I have that's been started as well. So this is using more of these kinds of stencils to create that completed design, but that will take longer to color. So keep that in mind. This would probably be a little simpler, and then maybe I could just add one more circle in the center and I'd get more of a flower design like that. So that would take a little less time to color. So not using these tools is a little faster, but once you've got your drawing done, if you're using those tools, then you can use the markers to color it in. So for example, maybe I'm gonna make this entire circle here in the center red. So I'm just gonna kind of outline and then try to do your best coloring. If you're coloring a shape in, try not to leave any white spaces. Kind of make sure you fill that up. All right, so I still obviously have lots of coloring to do on that one, but you get the idea. So a fast way to make one, again, you are making 2 of these, so you could do one that takes a little more time, and then maybe your second one is a little faster. You're gonna need to make sure you put your name on the second one, class code again, so letter day and then period number, and then table color. I think I said orange the last time. Okay, so make sure you label both papers. If you want to go faster, you can skip the pencil work if you're not using stencils and compasses. First, I like to find the middle. So if you want to do it with this, you can, or a quick way to find the middle would be just to go from corner to corner and then corner to corner. That gives you a pretty good estimate of where the middle is. So a really fast way to make a design is just to extend lines out from that center point out to the edges. And they don't have to be perfect. I'm doing straight lines. You could certainly do wavy. And this is why a messy mat's important, because you can see I'm going right off the edges of the paper here. So it gives it a nice effect. You can do this fairly quickly. You don't have to be very precise. And then obviously I've just done one color so far, but I can start to add in those other colors. So I could maybe add an orange line next to the red line all the way around. So something like this is going to be a little bit faster. And you get a pretty good optical effect. It gives you almost the feeling of a tunnel illusion when you look at it when it's really busy like this. So you can keep doing this with as many colors as you want. You can also add in like a secondary effect. So you could go around and create like circle lines pretty quickly that just grow in size if you wanted to do more than just straight or wavy lines around the edges. So there's a lot you can do with this fairly quickly to create a radial design. It is just the background, so you don't have to have a really complex design to make it really interesting. Another fast design would be to do the swirl. So I usually start with my lighter colors first. So if I wanted to know where the middle was on this one, I would just maybe dot that center point there. So you can just kind of start to extend that swirl around. And obviously at some point you're gonna have to kind of finish your corners up separately. And then you could use these other colors as well. So I can just keep swirling, and it can overlap a little. It doesn't have to be inside the other lines I made. But this is another quick technique for getting a lot of color pretty fast. It doesn't take you too terribly long to do something like this. So you just keep swirling with colors on top of colors, and eventually you've got a relatively colorful paper in a very quick amount of time. So your goal today is to create 2 backgrounds, and we want to have a good amount of color on them. So I probably would still go back and maybe add another color or 2 to these, but we want 2 completed radial designs that we can do our printmaking project on.